last week. No AI demos. Tools for Speaker has been published today. Do you have AI demos?
No, not this week.
Copilot, anything? Nothing?
What is it?
Copilot? You don't know Copilot?
No, I haven't. No. Busy with other stuff.
No demos so far. Topics, no release, no patch release. Big bug, nothing. So we'll see. Victoria will join, tell us about Harvest, how awesome it is. We don't know where, but it will be awesome. In prime. And status. This one. Orchard one. Yeah. Oh, I didn't see Victoria. You were there.
Yeah, I'm here. So I just wanted to promote again that you have a chance now to register as a speaker to our conference, and I wanted to ask if anyone has any question or anyone is thinking about applying to be a speaker for the conference.
George is applying. I applied him. I apply all time also. And Benedict.
Yeah, I think they will be speakers this year as well. I hope so. But I was wondering maybe someone else is thinking about it and they have any questions.
I don't think I will make it this year. Maybe next year.
But you have to. You have 5 sessions.
Oh, well.
Next year is going to be in the US. Are you going to come to the US, George?
Yeah. Well, what will the US be in next year?
If Trump has gone, I will come.
You don't know.
Okay, anyway, if you have any questions, just contact us, and I hope that we will get some really great sessions.
Thank you. Thank you, Victoria. So I was saying status Orchard 1 was the Orchard code. 56565656. Yeah, this one. Oh, let me take a click there. 56, this one. We can use GetAllCulturesAndAliases. There was one. Yeah, recently about this one. So this is about using. Or was it this one? Maybe that was the one I was talking about. So before it was calling get cultures from the culture info and then adding, and that's it. And now it's calling get all cultures analysis, which does the same thing, but also adds the ones that we know about that are not listed. So completing the list. Not updating GitHub. Our GitHub to 9x or not 8. 9x or not 8. So here it's about configuring Renovate. So it ignores this package and it updates when it's greater than 9. because we don't want the new 9.0 versions of this package, as they will import some 9.0 things into the .NET 8 target. So we stay on the 8.1. I think that's why. That's why. I know I said something last time that made some time to that, but so if we take this one, for instance, dependency, it has no dependency, so I don't recall why. We'll see. Bootstrap 5.6 updated. And resources built. Good. Third one. Organize and align data protection features within the features list for clarity and consistency. Organize and align data protection features. Copy paste. Oh no, that's Redis. So distributed data protection Redis. Okay, distributed data protection is the name of the feature now. And it says, but using Redis enables distributed application in Redis recommended only with a Redis server configured for persistence, because if it's not, then you use your keys. Imagine you lock it. Imagine you lock your door, you get outside of your home, you lock your door, and then the key is actually in sugar and it's raining. And you lost your keys and you can't get back in. That's what Redis does. Redis is sugar. And when you restart it, it lost its keys. So you can't get back home. So you have to enable persistency. This one is the same name, but for Azure Storage. And this one is persistent by default. So you're not scared about losing your keys. Safe. Redundant even. And then you'll see hopefully somewhere from George here that it will help with this one. So let's jump there. George made a PR.
One more up.
What?
I think it's a later PR.
A later PR. This one.
Yeah, that's a related one.
Add a warning when using Redis for data protection. And this one is check Redis persistence enable, because you don't want to have sugar keys if it's raining. It's doing some weird script looking to Redis to say, hey Redis, are you persistent? And if not, there is a big warning if you have this feature enabled. Redis data protection is enabled. Ensure your Redis server has a backup strategy in place to prevent data loss. Use blah, 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 for more details, blah, blah, blah. Just to tell you that it can now detect that you have enabled this feature and your keys are not safely stored on the file system. They are in the volatile memory of Redis. So you should configure Redis to be persistent if you want to put your keys in it. Or don't use that feature. So you won't have surprises next time. And this is required if you want to be able to execute a script to check if the persistence is enabled. So coming back here improves the bind model state task for creativity. The bind model state bind model state task. So what was the issue? So taking all the properties from the form and assigning the value, but now it's checking the type of value and not okay. So
the raw value in the model state needs to be a single string for tag helpers to correctly display the value back. Otherwise, it's not converting correctly.
okay, because it's a string value type.
Yeah, and from the
String value.
forms, there's always a string values.
Which means a
Right.
string that contains one string or multiple strings, and it can be converted to a string. So that's dangerous. So it's checking, is there any value? One value, then take the first one, or multiple value, then assign the array of values. Okay. So in the set model value, that's the key. What is that thing and what is that thing?
The first one is the raw value, and the second one is the one which caused the validation. Don't know exactly how it's called. Right value. It's the second overload.
Object string,
attempted
raw
value.
value, attempted value. Raw value, the values of a value in a comma separated string. Okay. This is a string representation, and this is the comma separated. And this is what the value of toString does. Okay. Zig, restore top bottom borders. First, last visible items after filtering result. Okay, so that's UI stuff. Filter, fix binding form input in the coming soon theme.
The actual change is in the widget register liquid file. And this required some changes to the register user task. Because by using a tag helper here, the form will bind correctly on validation errors. And the other PR is required for this one. Because this changes the form value names, the register user task needed to be changed as well.
Yeah, so the coming soon is a theme with a single form element that asks for an email. And now this is the activity processing the email. So it's saying that input.
It creates a user, and it was taking the email directly from the request form. And this is now a separate step, which will first assign a property to the workflow, which is then used by the register user task instead of directly taking the form value right there.
Okay, fixing coming soon now. GraphQL, lots of George PRs this week. GraphQL support for querying content items by status. Because you said it was simple to do, so we did it. Now there is a new option, publication status element, based on that value. You split the previous query into a first step, and then based on the value of the element, you change the query to filter content items. And there is a new property to filter on status, which will be published by default, like before. And this already exists and contains the list of values. Probably because we use that somewhere else.
Perfect. Yeah.
And instead of calling publish content items, it's content items. And there will be the status filter. Cool, thank you. Just on tone visibility settings, so we got a demo a month ago from Jack. So you can now define some rules, client-side rules, edited in the admin for each form element. Like this field is greater than this value, then display this form. It's all rendered in JavaScript. So all these rules that you edit on the server side will be applied on the client. Fix release data protection key name. So that thing can be done. So the fixed meaning before there was a parenthesis here. So it was not a nice key. Now it will be a nice key. And to be able to have a nice key, it will first check to see if there is the previous key. And if it's the case, then it will copy the value, the new key, and let you know in the warning, by the way, we changed the key of this value in case you had it before. Your Redis was persistent. And now your key is a new key. So don't worry, the old key is still there. Well, the key is key. Index, name of the key is not the same, the key is the same. New contributor, improve content fields, documentation. From Mike, you see there is some AI work here. So improving documentation such that people can have better examples of things, including AI. That's a big sample here.
You're right. It is. I actually thought also about splitting all these fields, each field into its own file, but I'm like, too much work right now. But the idea here is to give an idea of what can be done. Like for the text field, you can use different editors to accommodate different things and different settings as well. So this kind of provides a little bit, more than just a generic recipe. It provides like minimum, maximum value of the editor, like when it comes to text fields. Eventually, we'll have a lot more recipes, but instead of documentation, it probably will have its own either a repository or just a folder in the main repository where we have like sample recipes.
Yeah, so I'm repeating myself, but what use Spire.
JSON schema.
Has. No, not about the JSON schema, just what you just did here. You see, not talking about the schema, but just to have a place where the JSON, actually it's not very complete here, but just with examples for each step, each field, with the JSON that we can provide. And that's what you said, right? Instead of documenting each field, each step, with the possible JSON and whatever, you prefer to just paste a global recipe with lots of examples.
Yeah, but also if we split out like each field into its own file, we could just have small recipes for that one field where we can have multiple editors, settings, explaining everything. I thought that would make sense, but it's just a lot of work. Yeah.
Sure. Cool. So the one we saw before, update non-breaking dependency versions, this automated thing, updates the packages and then updates the curl and runs the test. Okay. Questions, comments, topics. What do we have today? New speakers. New speakers and pull request. We have pull request. Request, updating, never of exception. We saw that 2 weeks ago. There is a new one. Recipe schema. Oh, that's the prototype we talked about, the different options last week during triage. Debug with the streams, but we already saw that, and the issues. What's new? Asynchronous networking, page shift, HTML validation issue, localization. Okay, new entries. Okay, so the use of sites time zone in workflow down activity the sites time zone. Whereas the site has a default time zone. The users have also time zone. What did you do?
It's an old issue there. Someone reported this. The pattern is always UTC in a workflow, and this allows to use the current time zone.
Because that's the default behavior of Chrome, but then UTC based. But maybe you want to that's not intuitive. I agree. Use local time. And I see signature here. Timer event activity. So for a scheduled task, use local time is false like today. And then
it's in the it's expired async. It's basically the same code as in the background task.
Lock time zone and okay, just
it's used below.
Oh, there is a big break here.
Yeah.
Here. now and base time. Why is the cron value there? Here,
It's taken
schedule.
above. Yeah.
The schedule. Next occurrence. Okay. Base time. Okay. Good. And the editor dates. Yes. You want it to be even more complete. You could even have injected the current time zone that thing is using, because when you're here, like, yeah, but what is that? And see,
Yeah.
that would have been nice. Like,
This is
good job.
something that the
Yeah.
admin renewal dashboard thing.
File manager select must modify sections with your fields, which factor, blah blah blah. Okay. The people are on task. Size 9.5. Size 9.5. We'll see this one. Triage. Page or shape HTML validation issue. Oh, the page or shape, the HTML is not. Okay, we did a change on this thing recently, right? And maybe not some validation. We generate a link and there is nothing to link to. Maybe it's wrong. No issue, easy issue. Localization. Italy. You see, we talked about it last week for the validation. The comma used in Italy as decimal separator instead of point. Okay. This value doesn't respect the value set in the localization settings.
I think this is a misunderstanding of the default culture setting in the admin.
Yeah. Default culture, and there is a selective culture based on the user. Incompatible. Okay, culture. George and Lisha now in the task. So we have all the decimal separators. Did I read this morning that the chairman decimal separator was like an apostrophe? No, the thousand separator was an apostrophe or something like that?
No, it's a point
For 1,000?
normally.
I see an issue, something like this. And I'm like, yep. We talked about it last week. Okay, all good. Topics, questions? Mike is typing. I see in the chat. What is Mike typing?
No, I was testing the the decimal in Arabic,
Oh,
trying to see
okay.
what it is.
Cool. So you are using the chat for your test. Awesome. Okay, so we are done. We'll meet on Thursday. Thanks, everyone.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.